Welcome to day 27 of the AWS tutorial. Here we are talking about the AWS services and we are talking about the DevOps journey as well. In this particular video, we are going to talk about one another property of the AWS S3 bucket. And in this particular video, we are going to talk about the third point, that is a static website hosting. We will see how you can host your static web application into S3 bucket. Correct. If you have not watched out other videos, you can watch out other videos which are available on the channel that are based on the AWS EC2, the different properties, user data, elastic IP address, your launch template, auto scaling group, your load balancers, the different kind of load balancer, path-based routing, AWS IAM, roles, policy, users. We have also talked about the AWS interview questions. We have also talked about the BPC, subnet, NAT gateway, internet gateway, route tables, transit gateway, VPC peering, VPC peering, VPC endpoint, and many more stuffs. We have talked about the Kubernetes, CI/CD, and other stuffs as well. In this particular video, we are going to talk about the static website hosting. Let's directly move to the AWS console, and we will see how will we host our static web application inside S3 bucket. So let's directly move to the Visual Studio Code, and before that, let me go to the AWS console for the S3. Here we are in the S3. If you are not aware how to search for the S3 service, you can simply type S3 and you will be clicking on the S3. You will fall within this AWS console for the S3 console. Let's click on the create bucket, and here we will go with the general purpose. We will give the name for the bucket, and the bucket name should be unique. As you know, if you are not much aware, you can watch out the other previous video which are specifically on the AWS S3 bucket creation. Here we will be passing the unique name for our bucket, man demo-11, and we will go with the default configuration with this one, block or public access as disabled. So I will be just making it the public bucket, and I will acknowledge this. Rest of the things I am going with the default configuration. Let's click on the create bucket. So our bucket is created. Correct. Now within this bucket, if you get into the properties section, here you will see there is an option called as static website hosting. If you click on the edit, it says use this bucket to host a website or redirect request, and for that you need to enable the static website hosting. So I have clicked on the enable section. Correct. Then it says that index.host a static website or redirect request for an object. I'm going to host a static website. Here I will be clicking on the index.html. Correct. That means, what does that mean? I'm going to upload a file called as index.html over here. Correct. And here I will be not passing any rule. I will be just uploading index.html file over here. Correct. Let me do the save changes. So now in the static website hosting, I'm saying that it has to fetch the code from index.html, and right now I have not uploaded any index.html over here. So will this work in any way? Let me click on this particular URL, and you will see there is no content over here. 403 forbidden, access denied. What does that mean? This bucket does not have any permissions to get into this, and even I will be adding any permission, this access will be this message will be removed. But as we don't have any object called as index.html, you will not be able to see any message over here. Correct. You will not be able to see any web application over here. So let me do remove this error first, and then we will go to the index.html creation. So for that, I will be getting the content from my GitHub repo, which is called as Manish Krishna Vimal. This is public repo as well. You can get the content. So I'll be just creating this bucket policy for my bucket. Let me do the copy, and I will get into the permission here. I will be creating the bucket policy. Let me click on the edit section, and I will just change the policy over here. Let me do this command V. Okay, I think it's not copied. So let me just copy this, command C, and then I'm doing the command V. Here I have to pass the bucket ARN. Correct. What is the bucket ARN? Earlier I had this bucket created as Manish Tiwari. Now it's called as Manish demo-11 /*. That means on all the objects, man demo 11. Correct. Let me do the save changes. And what is the error over here? Resource ARN S3 object, an expected error for FAI response for CH invalid resource. What is invalid? Let me select this one I need to remove. Command V, and I don't think there's any error. Okay, now it's fine. So bucket policy is saved. Now let me refresh over here, and now you see the another message, no such key. Message, the specified key does not exist. Which key does not exist? The index.html, what we have mapped here. Correct. Get into the properties section. Here, while labeling this static website hosting, we passed a file name index.html. So now it is going to get the content of that index.html and display over this URL, correct? But that file does not exist, so I will have to upload that file as well here, objects, correct? So for that I will get into the my Visual Studio Code. I will be just clicking on one file that will be called as index.html. Here I will be just pasting the content from my GitHub repo only. I will be just selecting all this content from here to up to the last. So let me just select this. Command C. Let me go to the Visual Studio Code. Let me just do the Control V and Control S. Most probably this should be saved. Let me go to the AWS S3 bucket, and here I will upload this. So let me click on the add files. Let me go to the index.html here. Let me select the open, and index.html is there. Let me click on the upload. Your file is uploaded. So here we do have the index.html now, and in this static website hosting we have mentioned the same index.html name. Now you should be able to see the content of this file. Welcome to my static website. This is simple static website hosted on AWS S3. Let's work together. This was all the content of the Visual Studio Code as well. Here you can see we had this header 1, welcome to static website, and the paragraph. This is a simple static website hosted on AWS S3. Let's work together, learn more. You see the same over here. Learn more as a link. Welcome to my static website as a heading H1, and then this is a simple static website hosted on AWS S3. Let's work together as a para. Okay. So this is how you can host your static website over the AWS S3 bucket. What you will have to do? You will have to just edit your bucket policy. You will have to pass the ARN of the bucket here with the permission S3 get object, put object, whatever the you want. We are just trying to get the content, so it's get object permission. You will have to upload this file index.html, and here you will have to enable a static website hosting. Here you will have to pass the index.html. So this is all you have to do for hosting your static website inside your AWS S3 bucket. In this particular video we wanted to talk about all this, and in the next video we will meet with some other content, and most probably that will be our replication rules, lifecycle rules, and then at the end we will be talking about the S3 CORS and running AWS CLI commands for the S3 bucket. So till the time, thank you, bye bye, and stay tuned with the channel. Do subscribe to the channel to get the more technical content related to the DevOps journey. Till the time, thank you, bye bye. Welcome to day 28, where we are talking about the AWS tutorial, and specifically we are talking about the DevOps journey. In this particular video, we are going to talk about the S3 CORS, that is your second last point of the Amazon S3. So CORS stands for cross origin resource sharing, and in this CORS concept we will see how we can fetch the content from one bucket to another bucket. What does that mean? That as we see that CORS, this CORS what we talked about, cross origin resource sharing, this simply stands for you are trying to make the communication between the two domains. Like if you have abc.com and the another domain is xyz.com. Now abc.com is the application which has to fetch some of the data from xyz.com. So it will make a request to the xyz.com and it will fetch the data, correct? For that, what you have to do, you have to tell that XYZ that abc.com can come to you and it can ask for the data from you. So it needs to be authorized at the end of XYZ, correct? Then only it can get the data and it can show to the end user by abc.com, correct? So the similar kind of thing we will do this in the S3 bucket. That's our concept CORS, cross origin resource sharing. So what we will do in this particular video, we will launch two buckets in two different regions. As you know, S3 is a global service and bucket are region specific. So that's why I'm saying that we will be launching two buckets in two different regions. First one will be in AP South 1, that's our Mumbai region. Second bucket will be in US East 1, that is in North Virginia region in terms of AWS cloud, correct? So this is what we are going to do. We will launch one of the application, a static website hosting we will do here in the first bucket, and then we will try to get the sum of the data which is uploaded in the second bucket for the first bucket, correct? We will launch this static website application in this bucket, and that application will try to get some of the data from this bucket, and we will try to establish this communication. So this is what we are going to do in this particular video. If you are not aware how to host the static website, you can watch out the previous video where I have talked in detail how to launch your uh, first bucket, how to launch your static website application, and even about we have talked about the other AWS services as well on previous videos. We have talked about the your use case of the cloud. We have talked about the AWS EC2, the different concept of the EC2 like the user data, elastic IP address, your auto scaling groups, your launch template, the different classes of the instance class. We have also talked about the different kind of load balancer, network load balancer, application load balancer, their use case, their difference. We have also talked about the VPC and in VPC in details like subnet, net gateway, internet gateway, VPC peering, endpoint, transit gateway, and so on. We have also talked about the IAM, roles policy, and user. And here we are talking about the AWS S3. Now let's directly move to the AWS console to perform this demo rather than just going into much depth. So we will directly move to the AWS S3 console. We will create two buckets and we will see how to launch your application and then establish the communication between these two. So here I do have this AWS console already open. I have already logged in, and here I will be searching for the S3, AWS S3, correct? So let me search that, and you can see right now there is no bucket, so I will have to create my first bucket. So I'm in the Mumbai region as of now. I will be clicking on the create bucket. I will just give the name of my bucket. So to make it unique, I will give it man demo -11. That's my first bucket. I will make my bucket as a public. That's why I'm just disabling this block all public access, and I will be just clicking on this. I acknowledge the current settings. We'll just go with the default configuration. Let's click on the create bucket. According to the diagram, I have to create the second bucket as well. So let me create the second bucket as well, but in different region. So let me do one thing. I have to open this in another console as well. So in another tab. Here I'll be just changing the region, and let's go into the North Virginia. And we will create another bucket over here as well. So let me try creating the another bucket. This one I will just give as man demo -12. The first one was with the name man demo -11, and then second one is man demo -12. The similar thing we will make it public as well, and I acknowledge, and the rest of the default configuration. Create bucket, that is in North Virginia. As S3 is a global service, while the buckets are region specific, you will see both the buckets are reflecting here, but they are the different regions as well. That's why you can say S3 is a global service and the buckets are region specific, correct? Now what we have to do, we have to host the static website in first bucket, then we have to establish the communication. We will see how data can be fetched from the second bucket, correct, with the help of CORS, cross origin resource sharing concept. So let's try launching first static website in the first bucket. Here I will get into the properties, and at the last you will see a static website hosting. For that I will have to click on the edit, and enable this static website hosting. Here you have to pass the file name in index document. So I will just giving the name index.html, and that's it. You don't have to do anything. Index.html I have just mentioned, and let's click on the save changes. You are now fine. Now let's try clicking on this URL, and you will see some response over that, correct? We will debug, and we will find out, we will go up to the end. So I don't want to do all the configuration at the same time. We will go one by one, that way you will understand as well. So let me click on this URL. You will see 403 forbidden access denied. What does that mean? This URL, the static website hosting, this particular application URL is trying to fetch the content, and which content? The content what we mentioned, index.html. But it's not able to do that. Why it's not able to do that? Because there is we have not enabled this permission to be accessed. We have not given any permission to be objects to be public, correct? So for that, what we will have to do, we will have to create this bucket policy. So I'll be getting into this bucket policy, and for that I will have to get into this what we say, this notes. So let me get into this first code deploy, and this is my GitHub repo. Actually, I have to get into the notes, and from here I will be just picking up the details what I have to do. So S3 CORS concept, I have already made the document for that. So I'll be just using these contents for my use case for this demo purpose as well. So let me just copy this policy, command C, and then let's get into the edit bucket policy, command V, and here I will have to rectify this bucket ARN. So let me just change this bucket ARN AWS S3 main demo -11 /star. That's our bucket ARN. And what is there mentioned? If you can see, the effect is allow, principal is a star, action is S3 get object. That means it can only fetch the data from the bucket. As of now, we are talking about the first bucket only. We are not getting into the second bucket as of now. So that kind of policy we are adding over here. So click on the save changes. Now when we have the save changes, we have passed the access. Just refresh and you will see another error as of now. The specified key does not exist. What does that mean? Now it's getting into this static website hosting. Now it has the access to fetch the content, but this index.html is not existing. Why? Because we have not uploaded any objects over here, correct? That's true. So let's get into the upload. Let's click on the add files. We will move to this what we say, this personal docs and the S3 demo. I have to go get into that, and I will be clicking on the index.html. And at the same time I will have to upload this extra page.html as well, but let me go there, and what we will do, we will just upload here index.html. Click on the upload, close, and let's refresh. You will see some response here, a static website hosted, welcome to static website hosting demo. Here you see some of the one box is there. It's trying to upload something, but it's not able to do. What is it trying to fetch? Let's see that. So let's get into this network like inspection, and here if you refresh, you will see some of the API calls. So main demo, this website is trying to hit. It's not able to find two things here, Manish pic.jpg, which needs to be here, and extra page.html, which needs to be here. From where it is trying to fetch, so it is the part of index.html. So let me go to the Visual Studio Code, and here you will see the code as well. Here we do have my first web page, that is our title of the page, a static website hosted, welcome to static website hosting demo. That you can see here, a static website hosted, my first web page, welcome to static website hosting demo. What is there after that? It's trying to fetch this picture, manispic.jpg, and then it is trying to fetch one extra page.html. So let me try removing this, and just let's do the comment here. Let me do the save here as well, and I will try to upload this file as well, extra page.html, correct? Let me go back there on the AWS console side, and what I need to do, I have to re-upload this index.html. Why I need to re-upload? Because I have just made a changes. I have just commented the second line, and I have uncommented the first line where it will try to fetch extra page.html, correct? So that's why I have to re-upload this file as well. So let me try re-uploading it. So let me click on the add files, let me click the index.html, open. Let me select the second file as well, extra page.html, open. Let me click on this manispic.jpg as well, click on the open. So these three files I need to upload. Extra page.html, why? Because it was trying to fetch this extra page.html. Then manispic.jpg, why? Because it was trying to fetch that. Then why I re-uploaded the index.html? Because I have made them modification in the code. So let's re-upload this, and then we will try to hit this URL. You can see everything is working fine. 200 response code, correct? A static website hosted, welcome to static website hosting demo. This is extra HTML web page. This is the part of extra page.html, correct? Till this time everything is working fine. We have created first bucket, we have uploaded the file objects in this bucket, and we have hosted the website, static website as well. Everything is working fine up to the first bucket. Now what needs to be done? I will just delete this extra page.html file from the first bucket, which is here, and then we will see the other use case. So let me just delete this extra page.html, permanently delete. Let me just do the control C and delete. Okay, so this second page, the extra page.html is now deleted. You will see the 404, that's there, no such key, correct. What we will do, I will upload this extra page.html in second bucket, S3 bucket, US1, correct, in the second bucket. Now we will try to establish the communication between these two. So I do have this second bucket, main demo hyphen till 12. What I will do, I will just click on the upload, I will click on the add files, I will go to this S3 demo, I will go to the extra page.html, I will just click on the open and just upload this file, extra page.html, correct. Will that work? No, because we have not established any communication between these two. So will that work? No, it will not. So for that we will have to establish the communication as well. Now what I will have to do, I will have to add the bucket policy over here as well. Why? Because the object needs to be accessed by this first bucket. So and this it is trying to fetch from this static website URL as well. So the bucket policy should be there as well. So let's try giving the permission here as well. So block public access, sorry, the bucket policy, I will have to add this bucket policy as well. So the same policy with the ARN, bucket ARN. So let me do the command C and then command V, and the ARN I will have to upload from here, sorry, I will have to modify from here. So that's our ARN, man demo -12, and then let's do the save changes. Here also I will have to uh, enable this static website hosting, because it's the one domain. This is the one domain, Amazon AWS.com. This is the one domain which is trying to connect with the second domain. That is, so what does that mean? That a static website hosted over here will now communicate with the static website hosted over here. So for that I will have to host the static website over in the second bucket as well. So for that what I will have to do, I will have to get into the properties section, I will have to get into the edit section, and I will have to enable, and here I will be just passing this index.html. It's just for enablement purpose and nothing else. So I'm not going to upload any index.html over here. It's just that we just enable the static website hosting so that it can do one DNS to another DNS communication. That's what we have established through the static website hosting, correct. So that part is done. Now what is left? The main thing is left as of now. What is that? That is your CORS, cross origin resource sharing. So everything is there, but that is not. So let me try doing that part as well. So before that, what needs to be done? Let's try another thing from the code itself. So what we need to do? Let me get into the object URL. Extra page.html. This is the object URL for that. Let me go to the code. Here I need to just comment out the first line, because I have to get the data from the second line. So I will just remove this. I will just change this particular URL. Sorry. And then I have just pasted the object URL. This is the object URL for extra page.html, which is the part of second bucket. So what my code will try, this index.html, which is in the part, which is the part of first bucket, will try to get into this object URL, correct. This object URL is accessible actually in the public. Let me try showing you that as well. So if you click on this, you will see this is extra HTML web page. So it's accessible, but when it will try to get the content from a second bucket, it will not be directly, correct. So for that what I will have to do, I will have to do the changes, I will have to re-upload this index.html, then you will probably see one error as well. So let's go through the error, that will be much better in terms of learning. So let me re-upload this index.html. I have to reopen, just click on the upload, and it's re-uploaded. So what we have tried till now, we have uploaded the extra page.html in this, and then in the code part where we have launched this static website, we have passed the object URL, this object URL in the index.html, which is the part of first bucket. and we are trying to see whether it will work or not. So let me try refreshing it. What do you see? There is no error over the console, but it internally, because it's the part of code, you can see here, because it's the part of code, this it's trying to fetch this index.html is trying to fetch this particular URL, but it's not able to do. Why? There is CORS issue. As you can see here, the object URL is accessible, but it's not able to fetch that content. Why? Because we have not enabled this CORS, cross origin resource sharing. We have not told to this second bucket that first bucket URL can come to you and it can talk. Correct. So for that I will have to enable this CORS as well. So let me get into there. I have to get into the properties, not probably in the permissions. CORS, yes. Get into this edit, and let's copy the content from here, this CORS part. Command C, and then let me paste it over here. And here you need to pass the first DNS, the first origin. It's the cross origin resource sharing, correct? So here in the second bucket, while when you are enabling this CORS, you have to tell that which DNS, which origin can come to this second bucket and it can talk to. So for that you will have to pass the origin, correct? So for that I need to pass this particular origin. Command C, and here you just need to replace this, and this is the first bucket URL of the website, a static website, which is the part of first bucket, correct? That you can see. Let's do the save changes, and here from the permission you can see allow headers, its authorization, which kind of method are allowed. So it's a get method which is allowed. So let's do the save changes, and here if you refresh you should see the content of the extra page.html, correct? This is extra HTML web page. So this is how you can establish the cross origin resource sharing between these two buckets, and you can establish the communication between the two buckets which are the part of the different regions, and the DNS, the origin from the first bucket, can fetch the content from the second bucket. This is the same which works in the application development as well. You try to establish the communication between the two different DNS, and that works, correct? So this is the all concept from the S3 CORS, and in the next video we might be talking about the replication rules and the life cycle rules. That will be our short video, and then we'll be talking about the running command for S3. So till the time, thank you, and subscribe to the channel, stay tuned to the channel. So we are uploading like the different contents on the DevOps side. So till the time, thank you, bye bye.